Everyone. So I don't know. I wasn't expecting to pop the camera up and record. It's supposed to be for next month, but on this past weekend I was reading an old book, and it kind of forced me to stop and really think about the trajectory of my life, knowing that I have tendencies and biases that I believe I have analyzed them well enough to know that even though they are biased, I want them. So like being those MBTI, I'm pretty sure that's what is the MBTI personality types. I took that test, found out I was ENFJA, so that's protagonist, assertive. And I had past experiences in my life, and I realized, yeah, that is because interesting. All right, I think we're all right. So, see how I fix. Okay, so I said I have tendencies to with math and with the sciences. It takes me a little bit more than probably what someone would. Yeah, I like to think is ethos pathos logos, which is you start with the person's emotional and reactive state, and then you kind of go down to the logic of it, which thanks to a community of members, yes, they allowed me to tap more into the logic. But I always go with ethos first. I don't know why. I think it's just more of I don't know. I feel like I like to believe I understand that the thinkers, the builders, and the creators, they make what you see, but the ones who articulate and know how to craft the art of speaking, the word of mouth, and the word of writing. Those are the ones who say what the thinkers and the doers do. Because there gets to a point where they're gonna have to read something. You're gonna have to listen to people. I'm sure they may be deep down thinkers, but now they're also developing the power of mastery and articulation of craft. Such craft as that you can create such a sculpture or a resonance from absolutely nothing. They're like Michelangelo, But the reason why I flipped the camera on was because when I read the book, this one, The Alchemist, to be honest, this is like the art of the way of the superior man, but fiction. That's how good it is. So to be honest, this is the only book in fiction that I would, at least that I have read, that I would ever recommend. This must be in everyone's table, at least. I don't know much about the with fiction books because I don't know. I just never really gave a shit to sit down and read them. I could be wrong. Maybe there are some good ones out there, but from what I know, this is the only one I recommend. I've read the Victor de Mujer, which is I don't know. That's Portuguese for I think Veronica this wants to die or decides to die. I read that one, and then the fifth mount. Pretty sure. Yeah. It was the fifth mount. Those two, I would kind of recommend, but The Alchemist always beats it. But I was reading this part because if you did not get access to news to my newsletter or to Twitter, or if you haven't checked the videos on this YouTube channel, I got the first two versions out. And here's like a lesson for you guys. At first, you get absolutely nothing, and then in like that, you get everything. It's just how long you wait. As long as you put in the work, nothing's gonna fall from the sky. But I'm going to attempt the third version of this filter this week. I'm not telling you exactly when and whatnot, just know it's this week. And I read this part of the introduction of The Alchemist where it says once first three obstacles, which I think it's the first obstacle is that people tell you that everything that you want to do is impossible. Second one is the love, whether it's for people or whatever the thing is, and the third is the fear of failure, and then the fourth thing, which I know I've surpassed all three. Now I'm at the last one, which is the fear of realizing the dream or the mission that that X person has fought for at this stage of their moment. And I know that even though the thermoscientific, Sigma Aldrich, and whatnot, they weren't able to approve of my request to get the buffer and the catalyst. I still think I have a decent shot at making at least 30% of the filter hydrophobic. If they get 30%, that's a success for me because I can give it to somebody who has more resources and say, this is going to work. Here, use it and build. Mm-hmm. Because unintentionally or not, because this came from a pain point. This is, I don't really, I'll save this for later, but I just kind of opened the door for people to start walking into, which is the the ability to create something of value using the delicate, eloquent fabric of Mother Nature. You just get the threads and you, as like if you were sewing something, you just create something of of usefulness, of craft, of beauty. So that's the thing that for me gives me that so much energy. But I've noticed that I kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of feel like shit right now because it's kind of like, oh, it's almost. I'm just literally, I'm about to reach that finish line, and then the mission is over, and then a new one comes. I'm I've been writing about deeply about the next mission that I know that is coming. I'm just making sure that is this the one that really is, or is it like a false start? Because I've been experimenting since January about if if the next mission is currently this one, or is it actually a false start? Noticing that there were I had two false starts. I'm noticing that they weren't really false starts. It's just that wasn't the end of the mission. That was kind of a but my thing that I'm realizing is I am right there about to finish it. And as Oscar Wilde says, each man kills the thing he loves, and that's kind of true because the thing that I had fought for so long, and then with the Aquapella team disintegrating, I realized, damn, each man kills the thing he loves, but not entirely. I think the boat got killed, but I can still walk. I can still walk. I can still swim to the final destination, and I'm right about to touch ground on this deserted island. But this island is only filled with people who have traveled all the seas and reached the conquest. So that's for me. That's kind of a good sign. Where okay, I may have not gone a boat to get there, but I can say I've touched ground, a rare ground that most people never even walk because they don't even know what their personal mission is. They're just building because somebody told them. Engineers aren't really that powerful, especially if they've been manipulated to become engineers to the masterminds of Ward and Wright. Okay. But this part where it says we look around at all of those who have failed to get what they want and feel like we do not deserve to get what we want either. We forgot about all the obstacles we overcame, all the enduring we suffered, all the things we had to give up in order to get this far. I have known a lot of people who, when their personal calling was right within their grasp, went on to commit a series of stupid mistakes and never reached their goal when it was only a step away. I'm noticing my momentum has gone almost to a complete zero. I've only really showed up to my computer and done the aerogel work maybe like 20, 30 minutes a day. Normally I would go for 6, 7 hours a day. Just like intense chemistry acquisition. And I was just more of, yeah, we'll go look at a research paper to read it, take some notes, like That's what I feel like is happening. So I'm using this video not as to document process. It's just for me to show you that this happens, because I know most people will never even do this. Most people want want to complete some mission without actually having to go through the first three failures, which was the what was it? I have to look back, but it was break the lie that your life is controlled by fate, so and that everything you want to do is impossible. They have to break that first one. The second one is you have to accept and acknowledge that love is a fuel, is a fuel to get to where you want to go. But where does that love come from? That depends, because your love comes from desire. There might be another person who has the same mission, but his love comes from a pain point. Pain is more powerful than desire or pleasure. So, for example, I did this because it was a pain point. I know that in 30, 40 years from now, from the conditions that San Jose del Progreso and Jukla with their water, I know that in 34 years from now, just like what's happening in Iran and Afghanistan, fighting for water already. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because San Jose del Progreso, the town's already divided into two with their water. So I know that, okay, it's gonna happen there. So in 34 years from now, I want to be able to take my kids back and say, hey, look, this is where you come from. You know, I cannot live with that future. And it's a rare story that I got, because not a lot of people get to say that. Most people don't have pain already written before they were conscious about it. And then there are some people who are trying to save the world because they didn't really have pain. They were just like, oh, because I like water. Water's wet. Like, no. Oh god, my cat. Yeah, no. I will destroy you any day of the week because pain motivated me more than pleasure or desire to get to the point where I'm now, where I'm just like 2, 3 steps away from crossing the finish line. You know, but the problem with being so close to the finish line is you just kind of you kind of tippy. Yeah, you don't really actually like run. You know, you're just like, oh, who the fuck cares? But that's the main issue there, because I know I must be. I must cross the line as if I was just starting with full on intensity. That's what's gonna happen this week. But you know, and that brings me to my second point about this thing is when you try and save the use, you're gonna save no one. Okay, because I know there's probably 1 or 2 ambitious people who are gonna listen to this, because I'm surrounded by very ambitious people, very high performing people, especially at this age. But I'm gonna say like this, and this is just coming from somebody who got the chance to live in third world country for quite a bit, is when you try and help 10,000 people, you're only really going to help one person. When you put all your attention, just like a black hole, where you concentrate all that power, all that attention, all that focus as a singularity into a single point, which is the single point is one single person, you realize that 10,000 other people are going to need it. So what you do for one person, you realize 10,000 people out of nowhere, they just come out and say, can you help us too? That's what I did for Just One Village. And then I find out that, oh, some person from India decided to make a review on about what we were doing. It's on Medium. You want link. And then I get another one from ID Tech X. That's from the UK. And they're like, yo, we would want this too. So it's like, damn, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that song from Gagnauli. I didn't know from what was it? Espinar in Peru. And then there were a couple of the villages in Peru. They're not coming up to the top of my mind. And then and then I remember another one from Bangladesh. It went out, but you get what I mean? I just tried helping one person, like one village, and I find out that that from the other side of the world that they would want something like this too. So for me to build this thing is basically saying, here's the light. I may not be able to get it to you right now, but here's the light. And I will give somebody else who has higher authority, higher power. I will I will trust them with this thing that is so sacred, that is so delicate, and give it to them. They will continue with the rest. But somebody had to start. That's what I'm doing. Because starting is the hardest. Finishing is not really that hard. It's just for you to actually get your ass up and finish it. But there was a quote I had here on my phone because I want to do a kind of like a presentation style with all the lessons and just put them all in one place. But let me see if I can find it. So in the meantime, you can scroll on the side on the YouTube videos because we all have internet addictions. So, or you can look in your phones. But okay, we're back again. So um ah so because here's the reason why I say that I delicately will trust them is that the most powerful currency is not going to be crypto and all that bullshit. That's financial currency. That's something that is transactional. It's money wise. But from this entire almost year, I think it's like 350ish days right now. But from what I've learned is that the most powerful currency any that that has lasted forever, and it's a currency that everyone knows, but isn't really taught, and it's not taught well. It's not even taught as well as money, and even the advice that I've received, and now that I've learned from higher, wealthier people, it's not really that good. But it's trust. Trust is the reason why you have friends. Trust is the reason why your family members still believe in you, although they kind of have a higher start. And trust is the reason why you listen to this guy who's talking to a camera and you actually believe. Maybe I had an encounter with you, maybe I had a talk with you, or maybe you were bored and this video came out, you know. But and maybe it's because I made a few versions of the filter already. I already gave you 150 plus articles for you to read. I already have a newsletter. I already have a Twitter account just dedicated to it. And actually two. One's just for you to see my emotions. One is the competency part of it. And there for you, it's for you. I don't know, that maybe that might tick for you. You know what? This guy had to eat loads of crap to get where he is. So I'm listening to this guy, even though he's young and whatever and whatnot. And that's the other thing about being young is you got to earn your respect a lot more, because when you're young, definitely you're a bit more audacious, but you have a lot more energy, that youth energy. So yeah, in your teens, you're definitely going to be a lot more ruthless, but use that ruthless chaos they have, channel it to something well, just mastered well, that will allow you to move up the totem pole, and then whatever mission you want after that, just go after it. Because I know that's what I'm trying to do. Will I get the grand prize that I'm looking for? I don't know just yet. So until it's done, then I will speak about that. But that's the main premise of this. Is I know that once version 3 comes out and it comes out successfully, I will look for people to continue this position. But I'm gonna, because right before I flipped the camera on, I was listening to the Monster by Eminem. And I don't know why, but there's this one lyric I kind of like, that I kind of to summarize, that kind of summarizes the entire year, or like the main thing behind this filter. It's kind of like, it's that Eminem lyric that goes, "I ain't here to save the fucking children, but if one kid out of 100 million who's going through a struggle feels it and relates it, that's great." That's kind of how I like to think about these past these past 358-ish days. I don't know. Kind of like that. I don't care. I don't care about saving everyone because I know I can't save everyone. And if I try to save everyone, I won't save myself. And plus, I'm not gonna save others if I can't save myself. You know, I know I'm safe. Like I'm okay, but I got other missions. You know, but as I said, I didn't try and save other people, but because people messaged and they said, "Hey, we like this thing. This may help people in X village." Great, you know that's great. I mean to, but hey, that's great. You know, so I think that's when the best creations comes out is when you focus on just one person, one whatever community, and you build it for them, and then you realize, wow, some people actually want it. But when you try and do it for 10,000 people, you realize only one really needed it, and that kind of sucks. But it's kind of how most people live their lives is they do things that 10,000 people claim they think they need, and then they realize just one. Like solving like global problems and shit. Like, hey, bro, go ahead, we need it. But I don't know. It's definitely contrarian compared to I know what most people might say. But one other thing that I kind of also understood with these things is if if you can't make money off of the problem and the solution that you're trying to make, it's probably not a good thing to work on. That's also another thing that I would want to point out too. So, for example, you could put this filter in, let's say, pipas. Pipas are for water trucks where they store the water. And if let's say if I don't know, we're just going with a random example. Let's just say in Mexico City, and let's say in some neighborhood in Iztapalapa, they get uh, lead in their water in the pipa. Then it would make sense to put that filter in there. But then you also got to think, okay, how much can the government spend on that? And then how much would it cost for each, or is it in bulk or whatever? And then how long would it last? How much to maintain it? And, all that stuff. Or if you want to do it person per person, then okay, how would you do the retailing? How would you get into local stores? How would you convince the people that this is okay? Because I don't know, something that's worked for generations is just kind of hard to break it unless that there is a mass adoption. But then also with word of mouth too, because I like, for example, I didn't have Telegram on my phone until two three good friends. They said, "Hey, get on." Like, okay, now here I am. So, but yeah, if it wasn't for them, I probably would have. Well, I didn't even know what Telegram was. So that is the power of word of mouth. Is I replace it. I replace it with messaging and Telegram, so that's cool. You know, but that's also another thing that I kind of wanted to point out is if it can't make you money, not good. No win. Mm, and yeah, it's basically, and the last thing that for me is just I know I'm going to give up this feeling of conquering something and just claiming that prize, just holding it tightly in my arms and saying it's mine. I know that's what I'm giving up in exchange for completion, and maybe I might get a smidge of joy when it's made, because I know I did when the first version came out. If you see the video on one of the old videos, it's called version 1 filter or something. You could see the emotion. I was like, "Fuck," you know. But I think that's the beauty of being a dude, at least, or at least just being human. Is once it's over, get another one. It doesn't end. And I know I'm 95% sure what's my next one after this. gonna be wild. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. But yeah, this book is a mind bender. Paulo Coelho. But there's one more thing I wanted to share here, but I don't know, I just needed to share this mental reminder for all of you, like just all of you specifically, because I know that there gets a there gets to a point where if you have good people around, they're going to guide you eventually to the point where you find your mission, your purpose, or whatnot. That personal call, whatever they call it. You keep working on it, you eventually get there. You know, because for me with Aerogels, actually, you know what? Let me show you. This is what I wrote in October 2020. This post right here. That one. I know it's inversed, but or actually maybe not, but potential startup company create aerogel allows fluid pass through the aerogel without damaging structure. Because I came from a pain point, you know. So I had it. I already had it right there, and I actually have the post below is actually the beats. Although that didn't actually work out because I forgot all about the other ingredients, especially the second catalyst. So that yellow posted the one below it. If you're gonna try and steal it, don't worry. It does it doesn't work. But it's just having those reminders up there. But once you get close to it, you're gonna realize that your momentum just slows down, slows down, slows down, almost to the point where, as in, you're just dead. But that's the thing about life. You know, you work so hard to pursue it, and then all of a sudden you're almost about to finish it, but now you don't want to because I don't know. There's a reason for living because I feel like the meaning of life is just to build, create, and whatnot, and then just try and deliver and see what and to deliver as many victory points for humanity as possible. And that could be proved in different ways, as I mentioned in one of the old videos. I can see the end or some shit. I don't know which part, but I think the reason why we don't kill ourselves as mediums is because because job's not finished. And sometimes when it's a big goal, you kind of don't really want to complete it because you know that once it's over, you kind of already fulfilled life's mission. So in that period, as you're looking for the next bone to chew on or to pick on, you're kind of like, should I kill myself? Well, maybe not really. You're thinking about should I kill myself, but it's kind of like you're in this empty hole, like in this pit of nothingness, where you're in the present, all right, but I've noticed that it just comes with a lot of degeneracy. Where I'm just like looking at YouTube, doing some random bullshit, you know, and I don't know, just trying to do as much as I can to get because dude, I feel it right now because I've been doing, you know, so I know that okay, these things are happening to me, but it's not done yet. So that's the thing that kind of stops me from like going full in on degeneracy because I can tell that my like just like my face in general, you know, it's kind of I can tell I may be you know a bit too much. I don't know, whatever, but I know that you know job's not finished, so I got to keep fighting. I think this is just more of documenting than really trying to share a lesson, to be honest, after like what 20, 30-ish minutes of talking. But I want to let anyone know who's going through the same struggle. This is the hardest part of all of it. Actually, the second hardest part. Sorry, second hardest part. The hardest part is start. Because starting, you need clarity. But once you're at the end, it's just more of not feeling guilty that other people who have walked down the same road who didn't make it, and you giving up and you stopping because you feel guilty of them. Maybe that might be for people who have a tendency like me to think ethos pathos logos, or maybe not. But think about all the hundreds and thousands of people who tried crossing, like let's say the seas and died, and for you to make it, let's say you're the first one to make it back then in those days, you would be like, damn, everyone else failed, not me. Or maybe that's because I think about what people are thinking of also. So I tend to be very competent at that, I guess. But yeah, that's just kind of what I've been thinking. Is I know that there have been tons of people, and even people I know, who tried walking down this road, and because deep tech is research and development cycles, they're very long. They're frustrating. They're irritating. They can make a man go crazy. They knock them off. But for me to still somehow stand tall, that's kind of shocking. So I kind of want to end with this: is don't feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty at all that you're almost at the end, and that you see hundreds of skulls that have perished because they made a couple of dumb mistakes. That doesn't mean you should make the same dumb mistake of giving out right before at the end. If you have to crawl, or if you have to roll on the ground to get past the finish line, do it. But don't just end right there. And so, and the last thing I want to say is for future me in next week, and for everyone else who listens to this, whether it's 5 months from now or you're in 2060, I don't know, is look, I'm not really that smart, okay? Sure, I may have done things that aren't conventional from teenagers, because that was October 2020. That was when I was 15. Now I'm 18. So it's June 2023. I'm not really that smart. After all these 3 years, I'm not really that smart. I just wrote a post-it and never lost sight of it. Sure, I had some pivots, but I never lost sight of it. This is the final destination. It didn't really go like this. It was more of thanks to the help of mentors and coaches and executives at companies who told me where to go, where not to go, and placing a couple of bets on me. And also shout out to the investors who did not invest in me. That was even more fuel to push, because either A, I didn't sell myself enough, or I didn't sell this vision well enough, or B, when you possess great treasure, sell them or you believed. Paulo Coelho. So I don't know which one it really is. I'm gonna go with the former first, but only until version 3 is made will I find out if it was the former or if it was the latter. Because that is true when you do possess great treasures. Because I'm thinking the person I'm thinking of is like David Goggins, Andrew Tate. When you possess great treasures, sell them or you believed. It takes a lot of time for you to be believed like that. But I don't want this. I don't want my ego talking. I just want this person right here, this face talking, not my ego. So I want to be very careful. It's with there, because I know somebody 2023 also, or 2050, 2060 is going to look at this and he's trying to build, I don't know, a time warp to get to, I don't know, Mars or some shit. So, but yeah, I'm not really that smart. I just wrote a post-it, said I'm gonna make this because I have a pain point. I want to fix it, give people some hope, give people some faith, because the inverse of fear is faith. It's being cautious or being careful that breeds fear, not because faith is not fear. Okay. I don't know what idiot thought fear was faith. It's idiot. If you can do that, what I just did, write a post-it, say this is what I'm gonna do, and you get to it, I think you'll understand the lessons that were taught either on my first account on Twitter and these old YouTube video archives. You'll understand them. And you also understand the lessons that come out in the next couple of weeks, which I'll make like entire presentation slide. But volume times attention times discipline is the development of skill and success. Catch you all in a few days. Crunch time.